Hi everyone, welcome to the Stay Hungry podcast. Joel and Andy at Codebreak. Today we're talking about why print is not dead. Andy, you don't nod your head quite as furiously anymore at that music.
No, because you remember we were trying to think about, I was trying to think of the soundtrack from a film that sounds like our intro music, and it was really bugging me.
And then it turns out it's pretty much every Clint Eastwood film ever made.
And he also wrote the Mission Impossible sound. So it's Lalo Schifrin has just like done everything, which I should have known.
I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't wrote that, to be fair.
I bet if we Googled Lalo Schifrin, we'll find out, oh my God, because obviously I knew about the Dirty Harry, totally forgotten he wrote the Mission Impossible theme tune, because we've just done, not back-to-back in one go, but basically six nights in a row, we've done the 6 Mission Impossible films. Nothing to do with print
do we need to talk about
dead,
that? Because there's some stinking films amongst that 6.
Well, that's just blasphemy in our house. For Tom Cruise, I know we talked about Tom Cruise running quite a lot, actually. Tom Cruise running in a baggy suit in The Firm, that's probably my favourite. But apart from the fact that his character in number 1 Mission Impossible is totally different to his character in the rest of them.
So he goes from being not very cool, but obviously...
and looking about 12.
Yeah, looks young, not very cool, and kind of dragged into a situation he doesn't really want to be in, to being like essentially an American James Bond.
And there's about 5 years between each Mission Impossible film, which can't help. But which are the stinkers?
Is it a bad time to say I don't love any of them?
Fucking hell! Wow, that's just game changing. Oh, Ving Rhames.
Yeah, if he's in a film, generally it's a good sign that it's not a great film.
Well, I think Pulp Fiction is one of the best films ever.
Yeah, in fairness.
In fact, I'm trying to think of any films he hasn't been in apart from Pulp Fiction and Mission Impossible. What else has he been in?
He's in lots of B movies.
Is he?
Yeah, he's B movie actor. Like, who's the guy in Sons of Anarchy? Danny Trejo. He falls into that category as well, I think. Seems to be.
There's a documentary about him on Netflix, isn't there?
Yeah, but basically, if you need a Mexican bad guy, they're going to pull Danny Trejo out.
Yeah. But Ving Rhames in a turtleneck in...
Well, hang on, they're different things, surely.
That must be... I was going to say Reservoir Dogs, well, she's not in that, Pulp Fiction. But Emily's got a turtleneck on today. I've been banging on about polar necks for ages, and I've been dissed. And now, told you, they're back in fashion.
So after this podcast, I don't think it's important for print is not dead, but I need someone to tell me the difference between a polar neck and a turtleneck.
Nothing. I've always called them polar necks until all this lot said, no, you mean turtlenecks? Or as turtles call them, just necks.
So is it because, obviously, like a polo...
That's where you do the drum roll. Have you not got drum rolls?
No, that's on the other side. Oh. We're a serious podcast now.
Oh, sorry, right, yes.
Because it was polo necks when I was growing up.
Yeah, it's all turtlenecks.
Definitely. But then as polo shirts...
Nah.
But it's not polo, is it? It's polar.
Polar,
like it's cold, you need your neck covered up.
Yeah.
Like you're going on a polar expedition.
Yes, exactly.
But is that where the confusion's come from, and now they're turtlenecks?
You could go on a polo expedition in a sweet shop. Now we definitely need the drum.
If you're, I don't think there's many kids having polos as their preferred choice of sweet.
Oh, come on. Anyone with a grandparent out there, any kid with a grandparent, they know what a polo is, just like they know what a Werther's original is.
Well, yeah. Do you want a polo? No, I'm not ill and I'm not in the car.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I suddenly realised that my wife has turned 80 overnight because I found a pack of Werther's originals in her car.
Really?
I was like, where'd that come from? Because my dad literally lived on them.
But one of your daughters does get travel sick.
No, she gets sick in the car because she looks at her phone. We stopped that now. After she literally did throw up everywhere.
Just to warn you all, there's no empathy in this podcast. None. Zero.
Won't do it again.
Try to be nice.
Right, print is not dead. We've got so far we're about 5 minutes in. We've talked about turtlenecks, Danny Trejo, Ving Rhames, Mission Impossible.
Right. So I'm going to paint a picture. So basically, nobody gets any post anymore. You'll know that. I know that. 3.5 months in lockdown, probably got 3 letters in the whole time, because 1, there's nobody in the office to put together printed campaigns as such, and 2, all of the bills that you used to get in the post, all of that has gone online. Everybody has an app, or they get it by email, or they log into their electricity account or whatever they do. And then your bank statements, again, that's all online though. So,
Yeah, because our sort of argument before was all you get in the post are bills, but now you just don't even get bills anymore because it's all online, and they want to save paper and save money as well. So you literally just get some crappy leaflets about frozen food that the postman's had to put through your box.
Yeah. Do you get that even where you live?
Yeah, the farm foods or.
It was a bit of a waste of time where you
Well,
live.
too. I was
It's a
like,
long
well,
way to farm food.
well, it saves me having to buy kindling. It's great for the log fire. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the loose point we're making is that if you send a printed piece of marketing at the moment, you're kind of in a crowd of one. You'll land on someone's doormat and chances are you'll be the only piece of post they receive that day. If you do it well, it'll actually be a really nice piece of communication to receive, because I think there's still, certainly my generation, maybe your generation, that actually enjoy getting post.
We're the same generation.
Good one. But that feeling of, oh, I wonder what's come in the post today, rather than bloody hell, I hope it's not bills.
So why does no one do it? Why are we literally only a handful of businesses that believe that print is not dead? And we haven't even come on to like magazine and newspaper ads, leaflets, business cards, brochures. We're literally talking about one aspect of print advertising marketing so far, which is direct mail. And am I just going to answer my own question, say, because it involves effort and money?
Nope. I'm going to throw some shit around.
Oh, go on then.
I would say 99% of marketing agencies in the UK and the world are desperately pushing everybody down the digital route. Because it's accountable. It's very accountable, the digital route. So you can see how many clicks you got, how many purchases you got. Great. Completely get that if your agency is being that definitive with their tracking. Most aren't. That's an issue in itself.
Yeah.
But what they're failing their customers on is the fact that you aren't going to get that killer transaction with one touch point. So you might be running a campaign, and yes, it might display to those people several times, but you aren't making them look like an established business by just doing that. The beauty of our printed campaign is it basically provides, it gives its value, because you get tips and advice, you get kind of, it's the warm up. It's the warm up to the purchase. If you're selling something that costs more than a few quid, don't expect somebody to make a purchase decision based on a couple of digital ads that they've seen. You need to do more than that.
And direct mail can be accountable if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which I guess some agencies don't, which is great for us. But yeah, landing pages, call tracking numbers. I mean, it's not going to be 100% accountable.
But nothing is. Nothing is.
No, unfortunately. But there are certainly things you can do to make it more accountable. And like I say, direct mail, if it's done correctly, like a good sales letter. You know, sometimes people work out such complicated ways of getting in front of prospects, where sometimes a good, well-written sales letter, and not one that's taken 6 months, and I think we've done a video about this before, about trying to craft that perfect sales letter that actually never goes out because you're still working on triple checking where the apostrophes go. But a sales letter that goes out to named individuals, and obviously that's a massive advantage of direct mail, is that it's not a piece of letter that goes to a company. It's a letter that goes to, it's addressed to Joel Stone or Andy Round. It's like, oh, right, I'll open that then.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's another strong point, actually. Most of the stuff that comes through my door at home and at work says to the homeowner or to the business owner. It doesn't even say my name on it anymore, because it is literally just like people trying their luck. There's no personalisation to it. And I think that's something that people that have abandoned print don't realise, how affordable it is now to do personalised print, where you can customise what the contents of the print is, whether that be, you know, Dear Andy or even just the address box, the mail merge technologies that are available now, the things you can do in terms of limited time offers with print that you couldn't do before. There's a lot you can do.
And personalisation, there will be companies, if you're doing it on a mass scale, there will be data companies out there that can help. If it's on a more bespoke, more selective scale, then it involves a little bit of effort, whether that's paying some admin person to do the research or whatever. But I'll give a good practical example. What I mean is that we'll accept CVs on spec. People send us their CVs or emails saying, have you got any jobs going, basically. And if that email starts with "Dear Sir" or "Madam" or "to whoever it may concern," we won't even look past line 2. If you can't hop onto our website and see within minutes that, oh, right, this company looks like it's run by 2 blokes called Joel and Andy, I'll address the email to them or to one of them or whatever. Like if I get an email and it's like, "Dear Andy" or "Hi Andy," and then I'll carry on reading.
Yeah.
And it's either, well, people not be arsed or just thick, or they just think it doesn't matter. Because me and you, we have many talks about where's the line between being lazy and, to be honest, just being self-entitled, or sometimes just being stupid.
I'd hope
you're lucky to have me. Why should I bother doing that?
Yeah, so it's funny. So I was helping a friend at the weekend with their LinkedIn profile, which is not far from different from a CV. It's essentially a digital CV. And what he'd done, he basically he'd written all of his skill set in the profile. And I was like, well, who are you hoping is going to read this? And he's like, well, prospective employers, obviously. And I was like, well, what's in it for them? He's like, what do you mean, what's in it for them? He's like, they can see all my abilities by reading down this.
Okay, what's a skill set then? What's an example? Proficient in Microsoft Office.
Great at communication, and then would reel off why, or brilliant people skills, and then level 7 in counselling or something, and blah 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 blah. And it read well. It was great. If you were applying for a job and you submitted that, it was okay. But what I was saying was, you want someone to read this and without any effort know it's for them. So much like you're saying, if you receive a CV from somebody unsolicited and they haven't gone to the trouble of either figuring out one of our names in the team, whether it be the managers or me and you, you failed at the first hurdle. Mm-hmm. And what I was saying here is that you can increase your chances of people being interested in you if you talk about how your skill set benefits them, rather than just reeling off a list of bullet points. Because 99% of the CVs you and I receive are people just reeling off their achievements or their skills or their qualifications. And actually, the best thing you could do as a prospective employee of anywhere would be to tailor your CV for that place. So to go and say, well, if I'm a great communicator, so all right, how does that benefit Codebreak? Say, well, I would be excellent at communicating with your clients, your prospects, and talking to the team. It's a completely different statement.
Yeah. It's a little bit of effort goes a long way. Now, if you are sending direct mail out to 50,000 homeowners, yes, there will be ways that you could say, "Dear Mr. Stone" or "Dear Mr. Rao" and stuff. But I think it's certainly, if you're sending, I know you're an SME and you're sending direct mail out to 100 hot prospects, the little bit of time invested to find out, right, who's the decision maker? Who's the decision maker for what I want? Because, I know the HR director of a company might be the decision maker. It could be the MD, whoever. Figure that stuff out. That'll be time worth invested. Because if you craft this wonderful sales letter and it starts with "Dear Sir / Madam," don't be expected if it just is a total waste of time and money.
I would say, certainly a Codebreak, generally the post comes to me. If it's "Dear Sir" or "Madam," as if it's post for the company, it'll come to me or you. If it's a "Dear Sir" or "Madam," we probably don't even open the envelope.
I bet there are companies out there, and the PA or whoever the assistant is that collects the post or whatever, they'll probably just chuck it in the recycling or shred it or something. It's such a risk now of being. Well, to be honest, it's a risk generally of being the same, being perceived as being the same as everyone else. Yeah. You've got to stand out in your marketing, in your job applications. I'm not saying just be all total wacky and there was I remember when business cards have been around how many decades, and there was a period in the sort of late 90s, I think, where people would do their business cards on a disc. Yeah. And it's like, great, so I meet you, you give me a disc or whatever, so I had to stick it in my computer and I get back, oh, what a load of bollocks. And sometimes things work for a reason, and the humble business card can work for reasons. I'm not saying try and be wacky and different for the sake of it, but think, right, what does everyone else do? what can I do differently but more effectively?
Yeah, I think you've just twigged an idea in my head. So
Well, go on.
a real trend at the moment in marketing.
Sorry, I changed my mind. This is whatever you ordered. That is a bloody nice coffee.
I look after you here.
And yes, they're recyclable pods, so all the turtles are safe.
The recycling bags are next to the bin. They're all there now.
That's nice. How much does it work out per coffee?
60p.
Oh,
Max.
that's good.
Well,
So we let the team have what? 2 a week?
Instant works out about 4p, so we've taken a leap.
Gives me terrible heartburn, instant coffee though.
You've ruined my point. Right.
What was your point?
So a huge trend in marketing at the moment, and I say trend because this seems to be, and you've mentioned it to the team today, so I think it's a fair point to make, is to get people on the hook. Mm-hmm. And by hook, I mean the opening line of your social media post, the opening line of your email, the opening line of your letter in the post. And what everyone seems to have translated that as is either they need to ask a pertinent question, say something controversial or quirky, or make a statement that they can't prove. And everyone's doing it now. Mm-hmm. So it's become a diluted technique. It's almost like 6 months ago, a year ago, everybody was sending you a direct message on LinkedIn, and they were like, "Oh, great to connect with you. I'd wonder if I could learn more about your business." Oh, fuck off! And now I look down my newsfeed on Facebook, I look down my newsfeed on LinkedIn, and 9 out of 10 posts start with some bullshit, basically. And I don't know where I'm heading with this now, but my point being that if your print, if your digital, if your email, if your social media post doesn't emotionally resonate with the person that opens it, you are probably wasting your time. And just by saying a controversial statement, that isn't necessarily emotional resonance. That might just be piquing their interest in that moment.
Just bloody clickbait as far as I'm concerned at the moment.
Well, yeah, that's...
LinkedIn is... Yeah, I love LinkedIn, don't get me wrong, but it's become so full of clickbait of, can you believe that this happened to me the other day? And then line break, so you have to click read more, and they just hook you in some shit story. So now when I see people using that trick, so in fact I might do a post later on saying, please stop, and then I'll just line break, doing this, and send that out as a post, because I think it's literally ruining LinkedIn at the moment. And there's a lot of LinkedIn backlash, which is a real shame, because again, it is a powerful platform, and at the moment it isn't really pay to play. You can still get a lot of traction on LinkedIn without having to pay for LinkedIn advertising.
Yeah.
But it's the same with your direct mail, like you said. Don't just follow the trend that, right, okay, everyone's doing direct mail like this, or everyone's doing posts like this. You've got to stand out, whether that's, okay, what can I give away with my letter? Even enclosing a pen, a coaster, whatever. Be different.
Hey, it's Georgia at Codebreak. Thanks for listening to the Stay Hungry podcast. If you're hungry for more, don't forget to check out all the free marketing content on codebreak.co.uk.
So you've made a bloody good point there, Andy, and that's where I was headed. You've reminded me. Is with our newsletter. Have you got? Here we go.
No,
I'll forget again.
Right, no. Remember, right? We need a pad.
Yeah.
We did a podcast last week, and we ended up talking about when I was lost in East Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And for the life of us, we couldn't remember
what the reason was.
How we
and you've just
got to that point.
It's taken you a week.
No, I was because I was listening to it on my phone at the weekend, and we were literally saying, right, how do we get talking about me being in Los Angeles? And it's because we were talking about getting shot.
Yeah, I saw someone get shot where I used to live. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, suddenly reminded about that. Right, what were we talking about? I can't remember what episode. What I need to do is write down a list of episodes so we can actually refer back and say, as we said on episode 572.
Yeah.
Go and check it out, peeps.
I'm not even sure what episode this is.
I haven't got a clue.
No.
Could be 5 for all I'm concerned.
I've lost my point now. You've done me.
Oh, you didn't write it down? Oh, we haven't got to write it
down. So our newsletter. Our newsletter. Our printed newsletter, I must add, but it's the same with our Marketing Monday email newsletter. It's the same with our podcasts. There's no hook. The hook is that we provide value. that we will teach you something that you perhaps don't know. We will share information with you that's taken us a long time to learn. We are imparting that as kind of like, we were talking about this before the podcast, the more you give, the more you get. So we're willing to kind of put our opinions and our expertise out there. And the trade-off is that every once in a while somebody's like, well, these guys know what they're talking about. We'll perhaps work with them. But loads and there's 2,500 listeners on this podcast. We certainly haven't got 2,500 clients. So that's the trade-off. And like our printed newsletter goes out to a fair few hundred people. Mm-hmm. And again, we haven't got a fair few hundred clients. It's about giving and not necessarily expecting to receive and getting that value out there.
And being different. Again.
Yes, and being different. Where what we're seeing a lot of people do is hook people in with clickbaity type posts. And what they're actually doing there is giving you nothing. They're taking your time off you. And that's not always necessarily true, because it is trendy now, and so a lot of these clickbaity posts, when you actually get into the bones of it, do impart some value. But there's a tremendous amount on LinkedIn at the moment of people telling you how they've gone through something awful, and then when you get to the end, that's literally the story. The story is, I'm still doing my job, having gone through this, and it's, well, everyone's got one of those stories to tell.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pity party sometimes, because there are people out there who are really struggling with various stuff. But there are people out there who aren't really struggling, but they're posting some sad story with, like, say, no actual benefit or helping people. Like, this is what happened to me, and this is how I overcame it, or how working with someone helped me overcome it. And then someone reading it, like, oh, well, that's the situation I'm in. Oh, maybe I should try following what this person did. But if it's just you feeling a bit sad because someone called you a name at school 20 years ago, it's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And you're reeled into that story with a clickbaity headline. You're like, well, I've wasted 2 minutes of my life reading something that people, because you had curly hair at school and you were picked on. It's like, well, fuck me, that's going to help me, isn't it?
But then we know someone.
I had wavy hair. It was a real bugger, Joel. It was really sad. And if you can imagine, right, okay, and yeah.
What's the point? What's your story? Where we know someone who we both respect, who has built their business up on the story of how he nearly lost his wife and his kid. They didn't nearly die, then he left him because he was pushing so hard to grow his business that he forgot what mattered in his life. Mm-hmm. And so he completely changed his business model so that he could spend more time with his wife and child. And his hook, for want of a better phrase, is, this happened. I nearly ended up with no wife and child anymore, and this is what I did to fix it, and this is what I want to teach you so that you don't end up in that situation. So same emotional resonance, same story, willing to share it, but also willing to share what he did about it to get past that point. And now, don't get me wrong, there's certainly groups on Facebook, perhaps groups on LinkedIn, where you can go and share your problems and people will help you. And I think that's really, really good, really powerful. But using those stories to nurture business is odd.
I think a story with emotional resonance and an outcome, very powerful. Even, for a sales letter, for a leaflet, people. What's the old saying? Facts tell, but stories sell.
Yeah.
And there's no point just having a pity party story about something happened to you unless it helps people. And that could be perfect for a leaflet. It could be perfect for a sales letter. Wouldn't work in other forms of print. But instead of just having a moan or a whine or stating facts, if someone opens a letter and it's come to Dear Joel, great, okay, that's a brilliant start. They've opened it, because that's a massive advantage that direct mail obviously will have over email. One of the things we focus on a lot when we're doing our email marketing funnels for clients is crafting the email body copy, of course, but we'll spend a third of that time on the subject header.
Yeah.
How do we get people to open the bugger?
That's what my video was about this morning.
Excellent.
Headlines.
Excellent. Headlines, very important. But people open your letter and they read it. It's got to pull at something like a heartstring. It's got to make something flick in your brain and think, all right, I'm going to carry on reading this. And like you say about your friend's CV, his LinkedIn profile, how can this help me?
Yeah, and even better, show me how you've helped others with that skill set before.
Case studies.
So
testimonials. Oh,
we were lucky to have Sarah Brow on the podcast not so long ago.
Human to human.
Yeah, human to human. She specialises in brand storytelling, which is kind of where this podcast's heading. And she said, so in your social media posts, in your printed marketing, in your digital marketing, who's the hero of the story? And the point she was making was that 9 out of 10 companies mistakenly believe that they're the hero of the story, but the hero of the story is the customer. And so her example was, if you think of Harry Potter, Harry Potter's the hero of the story. Who guides him on that journey? Dumbledore. You're Dumbledore. And that most people think they're Harry Potter. Most people want to be the hero, forgetting the fact that the emotional resonance of a good story is you're making the customer be the hero. You're putting them in Harry Potter's shoes, and you're Dumbledore taking them on the journey. And I think she used the example of King Arthur and Merlin, and loads of films have it. In Spider-Man, Iron Man's the guide, and and I think that there's a huge habit at the moment of everybody trying to be the hero of the story, rather than putting the customer in the hero's shoes. And if you can send a letter to a prospect and say, we can make you the hero of your industry in a much more nuanced way, that's far more powerful than you saying, we can save your business.
Well, it's like, in it, we, like you just said, most people, if they go through their direct mail, go through their newsletter, go through their website copy, and count how many times they say we or I, whereas no, it should be you. You're talking about the customer. Obviously, you've got to explain how you help and your expertise, but like, what's in it for the customer?
Yeah, so it's that whole, imagine a situation where you're free to go on holiday without your emails. Imagine a situation where you've built your business so now you can spend more time with your family. Imagine a situation, you're painting the picture of what you can do that will improve their lives. But most companies are painting the picture of what they're doing right now or what they've overcome, and that's of no benefit to somebody reading it other than morbid curiosity. Yeah. Oh, I wonder how you got over that, and then you get to the end and they don't tell you.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I mean, obviously that can fit in with a lot of direct mail. Again, not that we receive much, not that we see much. We've got some clients, we've got quite a few clients who we don't use direct mail for, but we've got others we do. We use it ourselves, like I said about our printed newsletter. And one of the main reasons we do it is that no one else does. And we know it gets opened, and we can't track how many customers it generates, but that's not the point of it. But if you're talking about direct mail, or if you're talking about marketing collateral, something, your salesperson goes and has a visit and has to leave something behind, you can't, or you might not be best placed just to say, just find out everything on our website. To have something people can hold and feel like we're in the middle of writing a book. And that's something, again, that we can send out that people can hold and feel and read at their convenience.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everything will come round again, but in a couple of years, maybe next year, you'll see loads of people, loads of businesses going back to direct mail, because there's with lockdown and corona and everything, that there's been so much digital noise, and like the businesses that never sent emails. Lockdown happens. Oh shit! Suddenly, my the arse has dropped out of my business. I've lost 90% of my clients, or sales are down 90%. Oh, that database of hundreds of people we never stayed in touch with. Let's just start emailing them, and suddenly just getting all this spam shit off businesses who you signed up to like 5 years ago. And there is a lot of noise out there. And again, if you've got something important to share, if you've got benefits can truly help someone, you need to get in front of them and cut through the noise.
Yeah.
And direct mail could be, or a newsletter could be, a fantastic vehicle to test. But like we mentioned in the video recently, you've got to give it a year. You can't just send out one printed newsletter and say, oh, Joel, didn't get any new customers, or that was shit.
Oh, you're teeing me up. It's like we've scripted this. So I was just about to say...
We haven't, I assure you.
Business is about nurturing relationships, not nurturing transactions. But what you just described about everybody suddenly bombarding you with emails when things got tough, or the fact that my LinkedIn inbox suddenly went mental with the amount of people that are suddenly showing interest in my business.
I've noticed we have similar connection. I thought it'd be good to connect.
Yes.
Fuck me. Write something original.
Yeah. Literally, scroll down to the third to last post that I posted and tell me something about it. And yeah, then we'll connect. I've given it away now. But those people are nurturing transactions. They're saying, shit, things are bad. Maybe you'd like some of my print. Shit, things are bad. Maybe you need my photocopier. Shit, things are bad. Maybe you need my mortgage services. And what I'm saying is, here's a printed newsletter. There might be something of value in it for you. Hope there is. Maybe we'll chat again sometime. And there's no pressure to buy off me. There's no immediate offer in that. It's just, here's some useful information. And in all fairness, we'll also put a case study loosely linked to what that information is to show that we're not just bullshitting, that we can actually back up what we're saying. Other than that, all I'm doing is putting something out there to make our relationship a little bit better. And that's the value.
Yeah, value. It's so important. Like if you are not a sales director, I mean, most managing directors, obviously, you're all focused on sales. We all want sales. We all want money in. But if everything you do is looked at as a transaction, if there's no relationship there, unless you are, I don't know, just selling cheap widgets and there's no repeat sales, not fussed about referral, you just want to sell shit, and that's fine. But if you're talking about a business where you need customers and ideally you'd like those customers to buy off you again, or you'd like those customers to refer you to people in their circle, then you've got to look at things long term, which means not sending one direct mail out, not sending one newsletter out, not sending one email out, or attending one networking meeting, testing it for a year, generally speaking, and taking stock. Because, well, we had this recently, I think we might have talked about podcasts. You can't do 5 podcasts, think, oh shit, Joel, yeah, nothing. Like, right, let's bin that, let's try some newspaper ads. It's our podcast on paper didn't do anything for our business for about 6 months. And then it started snowballing. And it's the same with so many aspects of marketing. So many people, oh, I want to do video. Oh, well, I need a YouTube channel. And then they give up because they don't get thousands of subscribers within the first few months. And people move on to the next shiny thing, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Let's face it, we all love the next shiny bright thing. But if you're, is that banging? Something falling over. But if you're not prepared to look at something, Martin, make a good judgment call of whether something is worth testing. Yes, I think a podcast could be right for my business. I'm pretty sure lots of my competitors are going to start podcasting at some point. I want to be the first one. I want to be the first plumber in London with his own podcast. Some fact like that you can...
There's got to be one now, but that's a cool one. That's
Pimlico Plumbers probably done it, haven't they?
Well, maybe.
What's that noise? Oh,
your favourite. It's lunchtime, isn't it?
It's that shitty little car.
I quite like it.
Outside that just... Do you sit in your car and just rev it, Joel?
Doesn't really make any noise, my car, so...
Unbelievable. I'd like to know what they do.
Can't wait for them to get an electric car.
Oh, God, yeah, so electric cars. I might consider electric cars.
I genuinely think they're coming out of the office to have a cigarette.
In their car?
And then they're starting the car so they can have the heating on. That's all I can think it could be. Because they sit there for ages. I don't know if you can hear that humming over there.
If you can hear it, it's a shitty Renault Clio with a fat boy exhaust on. Nothing against Renault Clios, obviously, but...
No, I always used to fancy... Remember Clio Williams? Do you remember those? When the Williams Formula 1 team had Renault engines? So they released a Clio Williams and it was like a cool hot hatch in the 90s.
Okay, I don't remember that.
I always fancied one of them.
Was it a Renault 5, that shitty little box car one, back in the probably...
Yeah, so I think that's what led on to the Clio, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, they're going off now. Thank you. Thank you.
But theirs is the follow-on from that, Clio Sport. That's why it's so noisy. But it's just the fact they sit there for ages.
I know.
Anyway,
how do we get onto that?
I don't know, just 2 grumpy old men talking about cars
that
we wish we had when we were kids.
Talk about direct mail. What else to talk about? Humble business card. I mean, that's an underrated piece of marketing collateral, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, not that we do much face-to-face stuff at the moment, but...
No, but certainly you always know when you've been given a shit business card. Oh, yeah. Which means that there's an opportunity to make an impression. And I guess if you're the sort of business owner out there that's thinking, no, I don't care what a business card's like, I just use it to get the details off, then I'm sorry, I've misjudged this. But when people give me business cards and it's sort of a bit floppy and a bit tissue papery, my first thought is, well, if you don't give a shit about your business, why should I? And
Or they've moved offices or got a new number and they've used a biro to cross out their phone number and to like write in a pen, this is my new number. It's like, aren't you a financial advisor who's after high net worth clients? You've just stood up and told the whole room that, and this is your business card. Do you realise you can get like 1,000 printed for like 50 quid or something? Get some new cards done with your new number on.
Here's a top tip for people networking when we're allowed to network again. When someone asks for your business card...
Don't have baked beans for your breakfast?
Yeah, or garlic. But...
Oh, could you imagine a life without garlic?
No, there was garlic in whatever I had here. When we do a lunch and learn in the office for the listeners, where we train the staff, and the for us we have to then fork out for lunch. It's a double win for the staff. Not really sure, but anyway, there was clearly garlic in my food because when I got home I was shunned.
Oh, really? That's right. We're married now. We can eat garlic. In the days of like heady dating, whenever that was, and not that it was that heady, but it's like, oh, can't have anything tonight. Got a date tonight.
It's quite nice to have a kiss from your wife when you get home, though. If you stink of garlic,
she wouldn't kiss you because you had garlic.
Well, no, she just knew.
Oh, so. Right, okay.
Fortunately, she likes garlic.
She's made you lunch today, and she's put lots of garlic in. Strange that.
Yeah.
Trying to tell me something.
Yeah, and I'm sleeping downstairs. It's weird.
So, what's your other tip apart from not having beans for breakfast?
When someone asks for your card, give them 2.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Nobody does that. Why not? So my reason being,
just been flashed now.
yeah.
I got tons of money. I have 2, love.
But here's a card, and if you bump into anybody else that I might be able to help, don't hesitate to give them this one.
Haven't heard that one before.
There you go. You can have that one on me.
Wow. Blimey. I remember going to this business seminar years and years and years ago. I mean, literally, 2006, 2000, very new to business. And this guy was leading the workshop, and it was all about earning money. And basically, I earn loads of money. That's what the point was, really.
I earn loads, and here's how you can.
Here's how you can do it. And he gave his business card to someone, say, look, and his point was, you need a decent business card. And yeah, absolutely agree with that. Okay, back, and this guy's, oh look, yeah, I want it back now though, because that cost me like 0.002 pence. And we all laughed, but he was being serious. I was like, okay, now you've just been banging on about earning lots of money. And no, of course, watch the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves and all that shit. But it's like, oh my God, yeah, he actually seriously wants that business card cost because it wants it back because he knew it cost him a fraction of a pence.
I've seen that a few times where people have gone, right, a business card's a great way to make a first impression, which I agree. But then they've spent so much on their business cards, they're reluctant to give them away. I think if you get into that territory, where like
if you screenshot it with your phone,
there was
give
a
it back.
spell where people had metal business cards or they had like wooden business cards, and great. But if you're scared to give them out because essentially you're that heavily invested in them,
wow,
it's a bad move. Just get some tidy cards. Speak to your designer or printer about matte lamination, and maybe you might have a funny cut on it or something to make it stand out. But if you're getting into the realms of each card costs more than 50p, you're probably putting yourself in an uncomfortable position where, I'll be quite honest with you, I've got a box of cards in my car, I've got a box of cards in my drawer, I've got a box of cards in the bag that I bring lunch to work in, there's probably a ruck of cards in the pocket of a suit jacket in my cupboard. It's just always have a card on me, and I don't mind giving them out.
I mean, nowadays, yeah, obviously, if you're, I don't know, say if it is face to face when that day will come around again, you're in a networking meeting, it's like, oh right, okay, well, business card. Well, actually, let's connect on LinkedIn. Get your phone out, do it there and then. That is a kind of alternative. But pretty much every business owner or decision maker should have a business card. It doesn't matter whether you're a butcher, a baker, or a candlestick maker. Say, oh yeah,
I've never met a candlestick maker.
Haven't you?
No.
Have you been to Bliss Hill? Oh, that's a candle maker. Of course, that's a candle maker, not a candlestick maker.
Hang on. In the rhyme, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, is it somebody that makes...
Hang on. What rhyme?
Is it not a rhyme?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought it was a phrase. Is it a
I
rhyme?
think it might be from a rhyme.
Oh, okay, right. We'll have to Google that then.
Shit. I assume the candlestick maker is somebody that makes candles that are the stick candles, the long ones.
Oh,
But an actual candlestick is what you put the
put
candle,
a candle in, yeah.
But I don't think it is,
A candlestick, yeah.
because it's a very specific form of carpentry.
Bloody hell, yeah. What do you do? I make candlesticks.
as in the wax ones. No, the holders. Oh right.
We're going everywhere
To
today.
be fair, where I live, that wouldn't be unusual, but in the rest of the world, that would be quite strange.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, so you're a candlestick maker and you're turning up someone's house, or for sake of ease, let's say you're a plumber. Right, okay, fixed your leaky tap, Mrs. Stone. If you need me again, here you go. And it's a card. It's a nice double-sided leaflet. So I know some people that do leaflets that have this tiny little magnetic insert, so you can literally just stick it straight to the fridge.
Cool.
But some
We
way
haven't
of
got a metal fridge, sorry, pal.
some way of staying in touch, because you said it a number of times today, you can't just do something once. I mean, I remember we've got a log fire, and chimney sweep called up, and he said, I mean, now whether he'd done his research and knew that houses in this area had, who knows. Anyway, chimney sweep left a voicemail, because he weren't in, on our landline, saying that he's offering a deal on cleaning your chimney.
Yeah.
And it's the summer, so we're getting ready for autumn, winter. Right, call me back and sort it out. Great. Guess what? I had tea to cook for the kids. I had work to do, blah, blah. And then a couple of days later, oh, shit, that voicemail, did we delete it? And that guy, what's his number? Guess what happened? Nothing. And he didn't call again, because he left one voicemail. Now, I'm not saying he should have called me every single day, but because he was doing this on his own, he wasn't prepared to do it more than once for whatever reason. There was no other marketing to support what he was doing. So it wasn't like a leaflet came through the door a few days later from the same guy. It wasn't like he was serving Facebook ads to my type of demographic. So it literally was this one touch point. And I'm sure he did get a couple of calls, but there's a whole load of people out there whose customer he didn't get because he just did it once.
Yeah.
But that's probably because he was lovely and British. And we don't want to spam people. So we got someone starting work for us in a couple of weeks, and she was offered the job. And I said, right, think about it, talk to your friends, family, whatever, and call me back tomorrow and let me know. Now, what I didn't tell her was that I was, doing this. Well, I was doing the charity bike thing last month.
No, I've never heard about it.
Haven't you? I've only mentioned that once. No, quite a few times actually. And so I was doing a big bike ride because it was the last day of the month. And she called, saw it flash on my phone. Obviously, no way was I trying to ride my bike and speak on the phone at the same time. So I didn't answer it. 20 minutes later, she called again. And I did pull into a lay-by and spoke to her. And I was like, brilliant, well done. Do you know how many people they would have called once and they thought, oh, I better not call again. Oh, because I called earlier today. Oh, I called yesterday. Oh, well, maybe I should leave it 5 weeks and then it'll be fine enough to call. It's like, well done. If you're trying to help someone and you're not there just selling shit or trying to spam someone or you're being rude or aggressive, follow up.
Yeah.
Call someone. I need something sorted. Did you call him? Yeah, I called him yesterday. We'll call him again today then. Oh, are you sure? Well, yeah. And that's something I think as marketers, we need to be aware of. Yes, of course, we want to be nice and lovely. But if you're trying to help people, trying to help a client, if a client, right, I need you, Mr. Client or Mrs. Client, to take a photo, a big smiley headshot, it's National Smile Day next Friday. My job is to get that photo from you. So if you haven't, I'll call you again, or I'll email you, or I'll send you a WhatsApp. Oh, why you contact me again? Because I'm trying to help you. And that's something that the team needs to be aware of.
Hey there, Evie at Codebreak here. Fancy top tips, marketing insights and awesomeness delivered directly to you? Sign up for the free Stay Hungry printed newsletter at codebreak.co.uk.
It's like we planned it. It's like we planned it.
That's good timing.
I'll be completely honest. I'm on camera. I'm being recorded live. These buttons are just labelled add 1, add 2, add 3, add 4, add 5. I don't know which one is which. So that was pure luck.
Fortuitous. So I hope people understood what I mean there, because it's not about being an aggressive salesperson, calling someone 10 times a day. But there are people out there who've got so much good stuff to offer to genuinely help people, but they're not getting enough business in because they're being too reserved and shy about it all.
So here's a good one on print to pull it back round a little bit.
Thank God for that.
So we deal with a lot of businesses, obviously, and a lot of different kinds of businesses. And every one I say to them, so what do you leave behind at the end of a meeting? They look at me like, what do you mean? What do you leave behind at the end of a meeting? What impact are you making at the end of that meeting that nobody else would do? So in this instance, I don't think a business card is enough, because chances are if you've had a meeting, they've probably had your business card before, or they've got your details, But what is it that you hand over at the end of that meeting that makes them think, bloody hell, this is a bit different? So that might be, like in our case, rules of engagement. So something that they can read down, and it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's actually a serious document about how we operate. Or it could be a little pack that's like the introduction to your business. So that, a cheesy example that I've seen back in the day was have a break, have a Kit Kat, and the company was basically saying, we'll take the weight off doing your accounting. Here's a Kit Kat so you can have a break. But what is it that you do at the end of that meeting? I mean, and chances are at the moment that meeting will be a Zoom call. So what are you sending them in the post to remind them of the meeting, to show them that you paid attention to whatever it was they talked about in the meeting, and to put you front and centre of their mind?
Oh, how much will that cost, Joel? Oh, sounds like a lot of money. That's generally what we hear, isn't it?
Who's that an impression of?
No one, just general miserable business owner who doesn't want to spend money.
Boise, which I thought was quite apparent. Yeah, sort of.
Oh my God! Did you see that Nicholas Lyndhurst's son died?
Oh no, so sad.
And because I've removed I only had one news app on my phone. I've removed it, and then so Emma said to me the other day, I'm like, it's like, oh my God, was that really a Boise impression? It wasn't meant to be.
It just sounded a bit Boise.
It was just maybe I'm just sort of putting myself into potential listeners' shoes and thinking, sounds great, but how much is that going to cost me?
So I would say most of the people listening to this podcast as a business owner, their transaction value is probably over 100 quid.
Okay.
So every time they do business, it's worth more than 100 quid to them. So in that instance, how much would you be willing to spend to gain that transaction? Well, if the answer is less than £10, you're probably fishing in the wrong ponds. So I know that to give somebody a rules of engagement leaflet, or to give somebody a little flyer and a Kit Kat, or to...
Oh, I love a Codebreak coaster.
A coaster and a pen and some sweets.
Blankety-blank checkbook and pen.
You're literally talking less than £1.
Think our guys have ever written a cheque? Totally random one. I wonder if they have.
Fergus will have done.
Oh yeah, that's because he's like super sensible. I bet Emily's never written a cheque.
No, I don't know.
Not that she isn't sensible, but she's just her age.
I don't know where my checkbooks are now.
No, I can't remember. Do we accept cheques? No, we don't, do we?
Well, we don't give it as an option, but we've had the odd person that's tried to pay by cheque.
Wow. Sorry, total digress then. What was it? Blankety-blank checkbook.
How much is it going to cost to do that? And the answer is not so much that it should put you off doing it. And obviously, if what you're selling is volume and everything you sell makes you £5 each time, what I'm saying now doesn't make sense. But I'm talking about B2C or B2B transactions that put a fair chunk of cash in your pocket. So what are you willing to invest to make that happen? And the reason I've said it is we work with an electrical contractor, and most of their work is word of mouth, because the reality is, in the B2B electrical contracting world, if you can't prove what you can do, or someone else doesn't vouch for you, you ain't getting the work. People aren't going on Google and saying, I'd like you to rewire 700 houses, or it just doesn't happen. So it's like, okay, so when you get these introductions, what do you give them so they remember you? What do you give them that other electrical contractors wouldn't? And the answer was nothing at the moment, and that's what we're working with them on. And then I was like, well, what's a job worth to you? So this contractor had just rewired an entire hydroelectric power station. So you can imagine the value of the job. So for them to give away, even a 50 quid introduction pack, probably worth it long term. Then you can get into the realms of having a USB in there that's got a video introduction to your company. You can have a brochure. You could have maybe like nice coffee or nice tea bags, or you could really. you can really kind of make your mark with print in a way that you'll never be able to make your mark with digital.
Just reminding of Eric Morecambe, who most listeners probably won't know. Apparently, when he'd get a black cab across London, he'd always put his hand in the cab driver's jacket pocket afterwards, go, here you go, slip something in, say, have a drink on me. And the cab driver will go, very generous. Oh, I'll check. Gets out and he pulls out a tea bag. Apparently so.
Do you think he really did that? Because that's amazing.
Well, that's what I read. I'm sure it was Eric Morecambe.
I'm sure people listening to this know Morecambe and
Morecambe
Wise.
Wise. Well, people maybe of my kind of age.
I'm not your age.
You're totally my age.
Just weird.
Morecambe Wise. I hope they do.
Yeah. Next thing you can tell me, people don't know who the two Ronnies are. Which is what this whole gig is based on.
Well, that's what Emma says. Oh, like two Ronnies, you two.
Which one am I?
Except not as funny. It's like, all right, brilliant. Double insult, maybe even a triple insult.
For
Christmas,
so we need to learn an impression of the two Ronnies.
Well, if I put my glasses on, take my lenses out.
I'll put on some weight.
So where were we? Tea bags, giving stuff away. Yeah, it's the old speculate to accumulate. You've got to be prepared to spend money. I'm not just saying chuck money here, there, and everywhere, but yeah, if your business goal is to bring in new clients by not spending a penny, by literally relying on the famous word of mouth, then it's just not sustainable and scalable. Whereas if your money's spent right and if you monitor things correctly, not only will you be getting more customers, those customers will be the best sort of customers.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones who are more loyal. They'll be the ones who, to be frank, are going to be less of a pain in the arse and going to be those who are more likely to refer you. So if you've gone through that proper process of paying to accumulate the right customer, in the long run, you're going to reap the rewards left, right and centre. Because let's face it, who wants a new customer that's going to be a pain in the arse? Who wants a new customer that is not going to refer you at all? Because we're quite lucky because we've got quite a strict pre-qualification process. But there are a lot of business owners out there who will just take money off everyone. And if you're in a relationship type of business and you're going to have to deal with that pain in the arse for a long time. Oh, God.
I was just about to say, we've been on a massive transformational curve. So in the 2 years of Codebreak, we've pretty much got this right. But we've both been in situations where we haven't got this right. And I'd say the distinct difference is that when your email pings now or the phone rings, you actually look forward to it. It's that you don't get that feeling of dread of like, oh shit, who's this now? What's wrong? Because there's a trust in the relationship. So the people that ring us up now, they're ringing up to say, well, we've been doing what you said, and I was just wondering about this. They're not ringing up to say, we've been doing what you said and nothing's bloody working. What are you going to do about it? Because there's that mutual respect. And I think a gentleman once told me, and I completely agree, that the first form of marketing is giving. That if you're not willing to give something in order to receive, the chances are you're not really marketing. And it doesn't matter whether that's using hooks, using clickbait, whatever you're doing. If whatever it is behind that doesn't have value to the person reading it, all you've done is throw shit at the wall. And yeah, that might be engaging because it might be shocking or it might be controversial or it might be interesting. But at the end of the day, you haven't resonated with that person. Where I used the Kit Kat analogy just now, and I mean, how long ago was that? 6 years ago that somebody sent me a Kit Kat in the post, and what it actually said was, because I ignored their first message. What it actually said was, you gave us the finger, so here's 4 on us, and I've never forgotten it. Now, the reason I don't work with that company is because the sector that they're in, I work with a company that's never let us down. I really trust, but I just thought, bloody hell, that. There's a way to make something resonate with me, and I've never ever forgotten it. Where the amount of people that just send me emails with a 10% off voucher on, or just unsolicited emails. I came in today and I had 3 emails from different printers saying, "We'd love the opportunity to quote on your next piece of print." Well, why? I've never heard of you. Send me some print in the post. Send me a sample pack. Show me what you can do that others can't do, and then we'll talk. Show me a piece of print that's better than any print I've ever seen before, or show me a piece of print that's as good as the print I've seen before, but there's an added benefit, and then we'll talk.
I mean, we'll use a select number of print suppliers and people who do, like, say, promo gifts and items. And they've all sent us stuff in the post. Like I say, just an email saying, "Oh, we'd like to quote on your print. Oh, we do promotional gifts." Well, so what?
Yeah.
So does everyone else.
So I've got a good story here too.
Oh, go on.
So my friend has just had his house plastered.
Right.
Now, you'll know, because you've talked to me about it before, that for whatever reason, plasterers are like gold dust. So,
What, ones who could return a voicemail?
yeah, so they went out to 4 plasterers. Of the 4, 1 never got back to them. The three that did get back to them all asked to come and see the property.
Right.
Fair enough. All 3 quoted. 1 quoted by text message. I think that's okay. 1 quoted by email. And 1 wrote the quote in front of them on a quote pad, much like they would have done 20 years ago, whilst he was assessing the job. So he was just going around and he wrote a line, and then he put his estimate for the time, and then gave it them at the end.
And asked for a decision.
Didn't ask for a decision. Said, "Oh, this is my quote. I understand you're probably shopping around. My phone number's on the bottom of the piece of paper."
Okay.
Guess which one they went with?
Oh, him.
Yeah.
And, well, you know where I was heading already with that one, but what could you do to get a decision? So it's like, here's a quote. Obviously, you want to spend your time, speak to other people. I don't know how it stacks up against other quotes. But if you and your wife or you and your husband want to chat now, I'll just pop outside for 5 minutes. I will do that for free, or do this aspect for free, or I'll knock this off, or whatever, to get a decision.
I mean, I imagine in the world of plastering, they're never bloody short of work, are they? So they probably don't push too hard. But
That's good.
But yeah, he was blown away. He was like, "That's a bit old school." And the guy was like in his mid-20s or something, and he was like, "Well, it just saves a lot of faffing around, doesn't it? Because I have to write it all down anyway." So,
do you know financially how his quote compared to the other 2?
Yeah. So he was 2/3 of the cost of the other 2, which wasn't the reason they went with him. Is actually, and actually, it turns out I know this plasterer, so they rang me to say he's 2/3 of the cost. You sure he's all right?
Oh, okay. Well, you need to put his price up then.
Well, yeah, which I need to tell him separately, but
after they've done this job.
Yeah, but a lot of that is he's just not pissing about, is he? So he hasn't had to buy a laptop, and he doesn't have to go back and write an email quote, because he's just got a pad of paper. And he does a quote each time, and he said to him, "Oh, well, how can you do it like this?" He's like I say, I have to write this down. I've got to make notes anyway, or I've got to try and remember everything I've seen. That ain't going to happen. And then I've got to go back to my laptop, type up a quote, but chances are I'll get pulled into another job tomorrow, so I just do it now.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
they were really happy with the job. And then when he left, so it took him 2 days, and he said it'd take 2 days, so that's good.
Blimey.
Did the job. And when he left, he gave them a leaflet and said, "Oh, if any of the other houses around here ask about yours, just say it was me. I'd be really grateful."
Nice.
Because, and this guy's got a Facebook page, he's got a website, he gets inquiries through his website, but he's just playing the game and understood that actually most people of an age, particularly where we live around Shrewsbury, in the past would have just got out the yellow pages to find a plasterer.
Yeah.
And actually finding a plasterer you trust on the internet isn't easy.
I've got to be honest, I'm surprised that 3 out of 4 got back to them. I mean, that's quite high these days. I'm not just talking about plastering, I'm talking about when you want stuff doing. How many times we hear about inquiries just not getting responded to.
Yeah.
It's, I know you can't just drop everything every time someone makes an inquiry, although some people say like 30 minutes is the optimal window. But to get back to people, it's amazing. Like, well, there's a plasterer who lives down the road from us. He never bothered getting back in touch.
No, yeah,
it's like, and then you read about someone moaning that business is tough. Like, whoa, where's that coming from?
Well, I know for plasterers, they just can't get hold of any bloody plasterer at the moment. That's the issue, isn't it? Because everybody wants jobs doing now. They've been sat in their houses for ages.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought the power of print is very much alive and well. It just depends how you use it. And if it's good enough for, say, Domino's Pizza, who seem to put a leaflet through my door every week, then there should be a way to utilise it for your business.
Yeah, because so many marketing agencies they class themselves as digital marketing agencies, and to be honest, we've probably got stuff out there that talks about us, refers to ourselves as a digital agency. But print can be, not for everyone, but I mean certain essentials, like I said, like your business card. But print can work really well for so many businesses, especially if your competitors don't do it. Now, sometimes an industry doesn't do something because it doesn't work, but that can't be your default thinking. It's like, right, okay, am I missing a trick?
Yeah,
right,
why didn't it work?
Yeah, everyone else is sending quotes out by text message or whatever. Maybe I should write my quotes out there and then. Or no one leaves a place. Like you said, Joel, if you leave a meeting and you haven't left the client with anything, it's like, well, okay, well, even though you made a great impression, they'll have forgotten half of it the next day.
Yeah.
It's just a fact of life.
Yeah, I mean, something our team are all trained to do. Because chances are if somebody's already a client, you perhaps wouldn't give them a piece of print. But our team will send a meeting summary. So after you've had a meeting, they send a meeting summary to the client. Very few businesses do that.
Yeah, and it's being prepared to spend some money and look and put the effort in, or obviously work with an agency like ourselves, put some effort into thinking, right, okay, I need to invest in some coasters, some pens to give away. I need to get some new business cards done, and yet understand they can't be just on some cheap, flimsy paper. What about a printed newsletter? Could that be worth investigating, sending a monthly newsletter, as long as I'm prepared to invest for 12 months?
And simple things too. When people come in for a meeting, do they get a coffee and a Codebreak mug? Or do you just have a higgledy-piggledy range of rejected Christmas and Easter mugs in the cupboard? Every business has been there. I'm not saying if you're not in a position to do it right now, you shouldn't feel guilty about that. But when the day comes where you are, simple things like branded mugs psychologically make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So print definitely is not dead. Any other? I mean, what about newspaper ads, magazine ads, things like that? I mean, obviously a lot of print is struggling. We have got clients we've designed print ads for them.
I'm doing one right now at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I mean, obviously sometimes it is, well, okay, well, if you took that money and spent it on Facebook ads, and that's why so many marketing channels hate Facebook, but print advertising, especially if you've got some editorial that you've managed to wheedle in with a deal as well, that can work really well. And it is weighing up how much work do I need from it, or how's this going to complement the rest of my marketing, and am I making it trackable? If it needs to be trackable, like if you've got a print ad running and it's for bloody 20% off, or buy two get a third free, how are you going to track that? So have you set up a landing page and the URL you drive people to, or sorry, you tell people to go to from your print ad is unique to that ad, or you want people to call, spend a couple of pounds having a call tracking number so you can literally measure how many times the phone rang directly as a result from that ad.
Yeah.
There are things that could be done.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example so that, because I'm sure there'll be people out there saying, well, if I can do Facebook ads, why would I bother doing print ads? So the example I'm working on now is an auction house who've acquired a prestigious number plate. Oh. So they're going to be auctioning a number plate that's quite rare in the market, quite common initials with the number 1 afterwards. And so they're placing printed ads in magazines like Golfer Today and Horse and Country and stuff like that, where they know that the readership is going to be of a certain wealth, to be frank, and possibly interested in private number plates. Now you could target that demographic with digital marketing, but why not do both? You will have impact. It's something that most people wouldn't expect to see. You know, when you go through those magazines, usually there's kind of adverts for leather goods and watches, and so suddenly turn the page and there's a number plate staring back at you. It's something a bit unique, isn't it? It's a bit different.
How much are these number plates going for then?
Well, it's auction, so...
Oh, God, right. Do they have an idea of how much they could go for?
I'm not allowed to say.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tenner? Bit more?
Yeah, there's 5 numbers on the reserve.
Blimey. So. Well, I mean, I bought Emma a personalised plate years ago for Christmas, because the Christmas before I'd bought her a CD, which did not go down well.
Yeah, I remember.
So, so the next year I bought her a personalised reg. And to be honest, when you go and stay at hotels or go to meetings or whatever, and they go, oh yeah, I need your car registration number. To be honest, that alone is worth the price.
Just as you can remember
Just
it.
so I can remember it. But yeah, if this guy, I mean, would he do RAW 007? Would that be available? That'd be quite cool.
It probably is available.
Oh.
I can't imagine there's many right 007s.
Oh, Bond. So it's a bit unfair that sort of a few people are blaming the Bond delay on
the collapse of
Cineworld
cinema.
having to... Well, Cineworld's having to...
They're shut, haven't they? They've decided.
UK and US.
Is it from next Monday?
I think so. Till the spring. So Bond... But, you know, a film has to make money. If no one's going to the cinema...
So I went to see Tenet
That's about the only blockbuster film that's come
on
out,
a
isn't it?
Saturday in the afternoon, so you would expect the cinema to be heaving, and we were the only people in there.
Wonderful.
Oh.
That'll be the double whammy for me.
Oh, no.
Not good for the cinema.
No, brilliant customer experience, but you do feel sorry for the cinemas. What are they meant to do?
Yeah.
What are they meant to do?
If we make a film, I want it to make money, so I will release it when everyone can go to the cinema and sit next to each other. Yeah, it's difficult because part of my background is cinema, and it's still a medium I love, but would I take my kids and sit there today in masks watching? Well, unfortunately, probably not. And it's a whole debate now about Netflix and the like making it easier. Well, I can spend £3 on Amazon Prime to watch this film, or on Sky Store, the film that came out in the cinema 2 days ago is already available to watch at home, and it's difficult, and it's hurt the industry. But I know that when Corona is past or vaccines developed and all that, cinema will still be here for a long while yet, because
You can't replicate the experience at home.
Yeah, it is an experience-based business. And if your attitude is, well, I want to see the new Bond film, I'm not fussed where and when I see it, okay, that's fine. But there'll be people like, I want to see Bond on the big screen.
You're one of those people.
Love it. Hot dog, well, not so much now, because obviously vegan.
Not
veganish.
dog.
Not dog. Some popcorn. The kids love it. I get very nostalgic because it's some of the best memories I have with my dad. Oh, yeah. Going to go and see, what will I see? Well, what's it? Matrix, new Matrix coming out.
Bond, you'd have definitely... I think
John Wick 4.
You'd have gone for Tenet, wouldn't you, if it wasn't such weird times?
Yeah, but it would have been a harder sell on Emma, and we like to go to the cinema together.
Okay.
Batman. She's a big fan of the Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. She loves that. We've watched that God knows how many times, but she's not sold on
Interstellar
many of his other films. Although Interstellar I loved, Dunkirk we both thought was shit. Inception I loved, Emma didn't get it, and I think Tenet could be along those lines. Did you see it?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the one where it's sat on our own.
Oh, sorry, yeah, okay.
But it's definitely a cinema film, because it's so loud and just visceral. But
visceral.
Good word.
Very big word.
But yeah, it's definitely I'm very pro cinema. I think there was a film came out on Netflix that was made by Netflix, so it was never going to come out anywhere else, with Natalie Portman in.
Oh, not Armageddon. Begins with an A, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's some void they walk into or something. Yeah.
Something goes wrong with the Earth, basically, and this void appears. And essentially that was a cinema film. My TV and my home setup, although probably better than most people because I'm a geek, didn't do it justice. It need Annihilation, I think
that's it. Yes, Annihilation. I enjoy that.
It was a stunning film, and it was loud and it was exciting, and you just can't replicate that at home. And I realise some people have some pretty cool setups now, but
it is, yeah.
Maybe that'll be the what'll happen after coronavirus. Everyone have massive TVs.
Yeah, I mean, home cinemas, people converting. Obviously, now people are buying houses with that fifth box room to make into an office, or people. Yeah, like I say, I know a few people now who, with home cinemas, not they've got massive houses or anything. They've just literally bought a projector and a big screen, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And I mean, it is difficult because there are when you've got like the Russo brothers. What was the film they did with Chris Hemsworth? Extraction.
Yeah, that's bloody good.
Straight out on Netflix. That would have been amazing on the big screen. And then they also produced the one with Chadwick Boseman, 21 Bridges, that we watched, and that oh bless him, and that was awesome. Cinema level films, but they come straight to the small screen.
Yeah,
and that's just
Sad.
Those are the facts. So it's all very well. You've got all the clicktivists now saying, "Oh, support local," and don't buy off Amazon, don't drink in Starbucks and all this stuff. Well,
You try living your life as...
market me a better alternative then. I'm not going to give you business purely because you're a local business. I'm going to give you business because, I would want to, of course. If you're a local coffee shop, yes, I'd rather give you money than Starbucks. But if there's a Starbucks round the corner, or they do the type of coffee I prefer and you guys don't for whatever reason,
I can't just buy from you because
yeah.
You get into that like perpetual motion of, I've got to support them because I supported them because I supported them because I supported them, and you end up being the loser. Where I think you give in the circumstances you can give in. So we'll donate to local charities as a company. We donate to local charities, but it's that, and we try and support local businesses. On a Thursday, we order food from local businesses.
If we've got a sniff of entitlement, like, you should give me money, we'd be off. I'll give you an example. Went to Starbucks this morning, drive through that's opened obviously just over the road. Pulled up to give my order. Hello, Mafanwy here. I thought, there we go, fellow Welsh person. Love that. And
you said, it's Andy Wright, and they were like, oh, you don't sound Welsh.
Well, there's a rude joke in our family about Mafanwy, but anyway, I thought best not say that to her because once she's probably heard it lots before. Anyway, so Mafanwy, can I take your order? Gave me order, drove round her. Big smile, lovely. Use the Starbucks app to pay and all sort. Job done. Went to a local coffee shop last week. Was served by the world's most miserable person.
Yeah.
Now I would love to support that local coffee shop. It's like, well, fucking give me some reason then, apart from the fact that you're local, to give you money and not Starbucks. I'm sure you pay your taxes and they might not.
I can paint the opposite picture to show that we're not monsters.
Don't knock my family.
We work from home on Fridays as a company, but sometimes the team choose to just work remotely, so they'll go and meet in a coffee shop or whatever. And so myself and two of the team met in a coffee shop in Ironbridge, and it's a vegan eco coffee shop.
Okay, I should have guessed.
Says the vegan. This makes no sense. Just deliberately contrary.
I was outside bear baiting just for fun.
Yeah. This is what I have to deal with, people. Their coffee is amazing. Their service is brilliant. Midway through, you sitting there, the owner comes over just to check you're okay. It's just, they've nailed it, and they completely get it, and they've got a loyal following. And I said to them, how's it been since the government did some more announcements? They said, well, in all fairness, it has dropped off, but we don't know whether that's the announcements or the weather. So we're going to launch an online offering now, so people can get coffee and cake delivered. Well, that's a bloody good idea. And that's just I will support that because great, take my money.
And he'll be able to invest in decent broadband then.
Me? Or
no, him.
What's wrong with them?
I heard that was the only thing. Internet speed was rubbish.
Who said that?
Emily, I think. Yeah, Emily.
I never noticed. I just think she's constantly trying to upload videos.
Maybe she was just trying to do her video stuff. No, she said it was lovely. So hats off. But I bet if that owner or employee was like Mr. or Mrs. Miserable, you probably wouldn't go back.
Yeah, absolutely. Much like if I went into a big chain and the staff that served me were miserable. I'd be like, well, sod you then.
I mean, stuff like there are some big chains out there who are big for a reason because of the training they do with their staff. This is how you answer the phone, or this is how you answer when someone pulls up to the drive-thru. Literally follow this script because it's tried and tested. You try deviating and you get overheard, your job's at risk.
Yeah.
It sounds really harsh, but this is why it works. When you pull up to Starbucks or when you go to McDonald's, whatever, you know what, and it's almost like that familiarity that I know what I'm getting. When I see the golden arches anywhere in the world and I ask for a cheeseburger, I know what I'm getting.
Consistency.
How many gherkins, how it's been cooked. It's don't know how we got into this from print advertising.
I don't know, but we need to wind this up. And what I was going to say is print isn't dead and neither is cinema.
Yeah, and thanks, my family. He was lovely.